The First Crusade began because of a inquisition into the Holy Land by Muslim forces. This is no better explained by the sermon that the Pope had spoke at the time. Now, to help you understand how the First Crusade happened, I'll go for the flags. The first flag I'd like to talk about is the flag of the People's Crusade. Modern day people will know this as the flag of England, as it was the St. George's Cross, the patron saint of the People's Crusade. This flag is the flag of the Sultanate of Rum, a Muslim state in Anatolia. This flag was the flag of the Sicilian Crusaders, a way to represent the people who were fighting from southern Italy. This is the flag of the Seljuk Turks, one of the biggest Muslim empires at the time. This is the holy flag of Jerusalem, aka the official Crusader flag. These were troops led by the Pope himself. This is the flag of the Fatimid Empire, what we know as today's Egypt, and they also controlled Israel. The People's Crusaders, in an attempt to take the castle of, however the fuck you say it, I ain't even gonna lie, I can't say it, lost every single crusader they took to that battle. But this would not be the end, it would only get worse. The Battle of Alot went on for one day. The People's Crusade lost every single crusader they had, with 60,000 perishing. The number of Islamic jihadists is not known, but we know that they lost a large amount too, but nowhere near to the amount that the People's Crusaders lost. This would bring an end to the People's Crusade and begin the actual crusade. The Siege of Nicaea was an important battle. It left many dead, but not as many as battles before it. It was the first one to take place within the professional Crusader sphere. The Crusaders finally won after weeks of battle and would take over the castle. The Muslims would have to flee. The Siege of Antioch was a major Christian battle. They believed that God had came to their side. For now, instead of losing every battle they faced, they were winning every battle they had faced. With the Siege of Nicaea before this, they had been emboldened to carry on further. But would this lasting victories keep on coming, or would this just be a small feint? The Muslims and Christians in combined lost over 100,000 soldiers. The Battle of Dorylaeum was an amazing show of Christian will and fighting power. Even though they were caught unprepared and sleeping inside a valley, surrounded on all sides, they still picked up their weapons and fought. And they won. They kicked back the Muslim fighters and claimed the victory for themselves. This proved that the Crusade was going to be a victory. This made them even more vigored in belief that God was on their side. This was no ordinary siege. Siege of Mara was a siege on a Seljuk Turk-controlled castle. This caused major uproar as lords and vassals of the Seljuks thought they were safe from the Crusaders, but this only went to show that nobody was safe from them. It was also another victory in the Crusaders' book. They carried on fighting and they carried on winning, which scared the Seljuks, as they remember a time when the Crusaders were easily defeatable. These were not the same. These were professionals. These were not peasants. The march to Jerusalem was the first sign that the Crusaders were heading towards Jerusalem. They wanted to reclaim the Holy Land in the name of Christ. This was seen as an amazing feat, as the Fatimids, not too long ago, had taken off previously Christian rulers. It was a sign that they was not going to let the Holy Land of Christians to be ruled over by Muslims. This, of course, angered few, as they faced little resistance on their way to Jerusalem. So they made their way. They would finally arrive to a city on the border called Arka shortly after, and they would enter a siege. For the first time in a while, the Crusaders had lost a battle, but this would only embolden them even more with anger and vigour, causing them to be willing to fight on harder and giving the Muslims their last victory. With the vigour of losing the last battle, the Christian Crusaders marched on towards Jerusalem. In a shocking show of force, the Christians kicked out the Fatimid Muslims, finally successfully capturing the holy city itself. This would later form themselves into the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and thus begin the end of the Crusade. The Battle of Ascalon was embarrassing for the Fatimid soldiers. They had not only been defeated, but they had been defeated to the point they were forced to retreat. Thus, they could no longer fight the war. Soon after, only days, maybe even weeks, the First Crusade came to an end. And that was it. Not for another long while, there would not be another crusade. This would bring an end to the crusade, creating the three new kingdoms: the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, the Principality of Antioch, and the County of Edessa. This would only go to show the strength of Christians when they were united. There would be many more crusades. This was the first. This was the one that counted. And this was the one that cemented our victory.